Hi, and welcome to Realtor Real Talk. I'm Christina Palmer.
And I'm Celeste Huss, and we're with Parker Real Estate in Logan, Utah.
Today we're going to talk about the steps in the selling process.
And so we wanted to start with choosing a listing agent.
Which you've come to at the right place, right? Yes, that's
right.
very important. It's important to find an agent who is on your team, who's got your back, and somebody who you can connect with. That's very important.
Yeah. Now, certainly, in full disclosure, people do sell their houses without an agent, and it is totally possible. But we're just here to talk about the benefits that having an agent can give you in selling your home.
Absolutely. So one of the things that an agent will do is you're gonna talk with the agent about the condition of your home. There may be some improvements, different things that as an agent, that's where we have some education, that's where we've done our training, and so we can provide that information, some feedback, and some suggestions.
Yeah,
Some suggestions on how to get the most money out of your home.
Yes. So I know that you've had recently an experience with this, so why don't you share with everybody?
Yes, absolutely. It was a home built in the 90s, early 90s. The sellers were anxious to sell, but it needed some paint. We had some mint green, we had some peach color on the wall, and so as an agent, I suggested to them, take a weekend and to just paint their walls a neutral color. And we hopefully are gonna go under contract. We just got an offer in, but it helped buyers come through and to see like, oh, okay, this doesn't need to be updated.
Yeah, for sure. So any information that an agent has to share isn't meant to offend or to hurt anybody's feelings. Really, our biggest goal is helping our clients get top dollar for their home. And sometimes a coat of paint can be the difference between getting top dollar or getting lower offers based on that.
Yes. So the other thing to consider as a seller, you want to make sure your home is, as buyers come through, they're not like making a list of all these upgrades that they need to do, because then that discourages them to putting in an offer. So if you can eliminate any of that, whether it's painting, flooring, something that's pretty inexpensive but will go a long way, like Celeste just said, that's in your benefit as a seller.
Yeah, for sure. So the next one that we had was to make those improvements. If you have really old and dated carpet or even just really worn out carpet, you will see a bigger return on the investment putting the carpet in, because if you say, oh, well, someone can just offer us less or we can give a carpet allowance, the reality is that they're going to take that discount off for what they see the condition of the home as, and then ask for the allowance too.
It's true.
It's one of those things that will definitely make a big difference. So
I think too, as I represent sellers, really going into their like, okay, we want to flip your home. And I know that sometimes is kind of a like, oh wait, there's so much emotion that's attached to these homes, but really like, how can you get the most money out of your home? That's our job, is to really lay everything out there and to go over everything and really kind of like get in that mindset as we're flipping your home. So if we need to update carpet and paint and do all these different things to get the most value, then that it's going to be a benefit to the seller.
Yeah. There's a reason why people don't live in show homes.
Yeah, right?
So you do have to think of that in the flipping, that you really, to get the most money for your home, you almost have to convince people that nobody lives there.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
I mean, you will, but it's amazing the difference that has for buyers and their perception of the value of the home when that happens.
That is such a great point. So. And that's another topic that you'll see out on our channel is staging and some tips on staging, because that is really key as you get ready to sell your house. Yeah, great.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the other things that we feel really strongly about is have professional photos taken. We have a professional photographer who photographs our listings, and the thing that we would want you to know is that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And so the photos of your home are what gets put out on the internet where everyone is starting their
Marketing.
skirt, their
Yep.
skirt. And so those pictures, when they're dark, you see them turned on their side,
Yeah.
you see them with, just don't do it, because then people
They'll just
will,
skip right over.
they'll either skip right over it, or they'll be like, these people, like, that's a
They didn't even
dumpy
put any
house.
attention into it. Yeah.
So you could actually get less money, I think, for a
Yeah.
home. I mean, obviously, once people look through it, but
Mhm.
and photos can also be deceiving too, because sometimes you'll think, oh, that house looks pretty nice, and then you walk through it,
And you're like, wow.
and then you're like, well, that carpet is much more worn than the pictures make it seem. So
Yeah.
not that anyone's trying to be deceptive,
Right.
but light and bright photos make a huge difference in
Absolutely.
what buyers are
Pictures
looking at.
Pictures do say, what is that saying? Pictures worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Like, it is true.
Yeah.
Pictures are key. Yep.
Yeah.
Great. The next thing is to set a competitive price. This is going to be something that you're going to work with your agent with. Obviously, they're going to be doing some comparable market analysis. They're going to see what homes and have sold and prices, and they're going to work with you in determining that price.
Yeah.
You are, as buyers and sellers, you run the boat. You steer the boat. We are just
Kind of telling you maybe where to go.
we
and
want
what
to
to
lay
consider.
everything out there,
Yeah.
but then you guys have the end decision. So, and I think that's another key point is, as you're working with an agent, make sure that, like, that is how you're received too, because your opinion does matter.
Yeah.
And what you want, I mean, we are just making it happen.
Yeah.
But you guys, in the end goal, you get to make those decisions.
Pricing your home too high can definitely turn people away anyways, because they can be like, what, that's crazy that
Yeah.
they want that much for a house in that neighborhood, especially if they're out there looking.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will still come take a look, but then you'll have sellers say, well, just have them make an offer, like just people can make us an offer. But the reality is that seller or buyers don't want to offend a seller.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times they're like, well, and in a market like we find ourselves in right now, it's early 2020, is that it's very much a seller's market.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
are there other people who may be willing to pay that? And so they kind of go, well, maybe somebody else would be willing to pay that, but I'm not going to.
And right now, I mean, we're getting over asking price for a lot of homes. So yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Setting it competitively, obviously, depending on the time of year too. I mean, I've had a home that's been on the market for a couple months. We're in the middle of winter, and so that's gonna determine how you're gonna set your price.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's a great point.
I mean, between Thanksgiving and Christmas,
It's just,
I mean, it was just crickets.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
only
Snooze
the
Fest,
most
USA.
only the most serious buyers
Yeah.
were out there for sure, and looking for the best deals
Yeah.
too. I think
I do too.
And then as soon as the 26th hit, then
It was like, yeah, and
like,
now
okay,
the market's starting
now we're
to.
back.
Yep, here we are. Game on.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then obviously pricing it too low, it just means that there's money that could have been left on the table.
Yep.
So,
Well, and I also feel like some buyers will look at that and be like, oh, well, what's wrong with that home then? If it should be coming in at this price, but it's priced $20,000 below, like, is there an issue that we're not seeing or they're not being honest about? We have seen that too.
Yeah.
So work with your agent. Obviously, like, getting those comparables is key in setting that competitive price.
yeah. And two, when it stays on the market too long because it is too high priced, it gets a stigma as well.
Yeah.
So a stigma can work in both ways,
Yep.
but people can go, well, this has been on the market for even a month in our area. And if that's the case, it's kind of like, well, I wonder
What-
what's wrong with the
Yep,
house.
yep.
Why hasn't somebody else?
Pick that up.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
kind of an interesting thing.
Very good.
So
Very good. Next one is to market your home. So once you've set your price, you've got some good pictures, you're ready to go. You're ready to put it on the market.
one of the biggest things that we have as an advantage of real estate agents is that your home is listed for sale on the Utah MLS system. Now, the Utah MLS system then syndicates all of those out to Zillow and Realtor.com and any of those other websites, but they originate at UtahRealEstate.com.
Which really is big. I mean, people,
Yeah.
I don't think realize the magnitude of that
Yeah.
whole avenue.
Yeah, I mean, just the amount of buyers that are out there looking, and even if you find it on Zillow, it wouldn't be out on Zillow if it wasn't for the agents in the first place. So, and there are other places to put your home for sale as well. I mean, you can, here in Utah, KSL Classifieds is a really popular online
local
marketplace, local stuff.
Yep.
You can put things, you know, on Zillow and whatnot, but so then, you know, we obviously put a sign at the house. We have flyers. And so our job is just to get as much exposure out in the marketplace. We, in our office, we have a meeting each week. So then we let our office mates know what's going on in the market. We can even have other realtors come through on open houses. Then there's open houses, you know, on weekends and whatnot to really just put out there,
generate some show and interest, and which is good. I mean, as an agent, that it is important that you're on the same page as far as the marketing efforts, because that really that is what will sell your house.
So once your home is being marketed for sale, the next thing is to be able to show your home to prospective buyers. Now, if you're going it alone, then you have to coordinate all of that, and you have to make sure to connect everyone, make sure people have access to your home, things like that. Now, as real estate agents, we have access to what is called a Supra lockbox. And so to provide our clients with security, is we have a lockbox that can only be accessed by realtors in good standing with our association. And so it's through an app on our phone, you have Bluetooth enabled and all this kind of stuff. So
Very
somebody
fancy.
can't just get a code and enter your home. I mean, certainly.
Very safe.
Yeah. So, and then we have a system called Showing Time that many agents have. We set those up. On Showing Time, you just have to confirm, and then you just have to leave the house. And
Keep
have it shown and keep
have it
it
ready
in good,
and
in good condition for people. And we have another video that'll go into all of that as far as like how to show your home most effectively. But getting out of the way and allowing a buyer to walk through your home is super important.
It is, yes.
Anytime I have a buyer and we go to a home that is for sale by owner and the owner insists on staying there,
it's a little uncomfortable, isn't it?
It just is one of those things. I mean, we understand that this is your home, and that you have a lot of great, you know, doodads here and there, but buyers really aren't stupid. And but they're not going to buy a home because of some recessed lighting that maybe you wouldn't know about unless you hit that light switch. And I speak from like real life experience with that, where if you're a seller and you're trying to tell a buyer everything that they should look at in your home, they don't feel comfortable to even take the home at a pace that works for them. And it really ultimately, sometimes I feel works
against them.
Against a seller in that regard. So as much as it is an agent who is showing your house because of the code of ethics that we have to abide by and those different things, if you're working with an agent, I would trust that buyer's agent to show your home and not need your input on every turn of the house.
That's a good point. Very good.
Yep.
So you've showed your home. Next is you're going to review and negotiate offers, which I think is probably one of the funnest parts. And that's where you've got three options: accept, counter, or decline. And so, you'll work with your agent in determining what works best for you, what you want. Was it a low bar offer? Do you want a counter? Do you want things thrown in there? All of that stuff. You'll work directly with your agent and negotiate and really try and get the best bang for your buck.
And all things